Hi guys. So some of you might know me, and that's fine. Then you'll understand why I'm doing this. But for those of you who don't, I was given a parking ticket, you see. I was donating plasma at the time, because I need money. And I exceeded the 2-hour parking lot. Never mind the fact that I pay taxes, I pay for gasoline, I register my car, and in Idaho, that's how the roads are paid for. But the city seems to think up in Rexburg that they need to tax me more. So they give me a parking ticket. Yeah, imagine that. So, we examine the contents. If this is paid within 15 days of issue, we get to have a $10 fine. Don't know if you can make that out, but yeah, if that works for you. Anyway, so I went in to pay it. The writing on there is from the person who actually wrote it. Strangely enough, when I went in to pay it, I found the very same cretin that wrote it. And anyway, so I come in there with legal tender, of course. They wouldn't take my money. Now, I'm familiar with the Coinage Act of 1965. If it's a public institution, they have to take it because it's legal tender. Legal tender being cash, bills, checks, Visa, whatever is considered legal tender. And coins are considered legal tender. And since this is a public debt and a tax, I can pay it with pennies. They don't have to like it. Now, I went in there fully intending to pay this thing. I mean, that's why I went in there in the first place. But suffice it to say, it was kind of an interesting showdown. I was greeted by the officer, who was not thrilled to see me. But, you know, there's a little backstory on it. I called her a lot, and then I filled the voicemail. Because I was asking questions. You know, it's a civil suit, essentially. So I asked her where the contract was. She didn't like that at all. But, anyway, so I didn't get anything with her. So I just figured, okay, I'm going to quit calling this person. She's kind of useless, so whatever. And, so I went in to pay this thing. I said, here's your money, take it. She said, no, I'm not taking it. Well, you kind of have to. It's legal tender. This is a public debt, and you're a public office person, so take it. Needless to say, she didn't take it. So she comes back out with 5 other cops. 2 of them walk out behind me. 3 of them are still behind the glass. And the DA comes out. The DA? Really? What is he doing here? Apparently, I've gained a small amount of notoriety with the local PD in Rexburg. Because I got a BS trial. That's really the source of my angst, is that I didn't get a fair trial. I didn't get a meaningful trial. Judge basically stamped you're guilty, regardless of what I said. So, that's why this is happening. Until they give me a fair trial, which they're not going to. This is what they're going to get from me. It's pennies. So, they wanted me to pay this thing, so I go in there and I try to pay it, right? The prosecutor's like, this isn't legal tender. I'm like, yeah, it is. Are you familiar with the Coinage Act of 1965? And I got a glazed look over his eye in that. Needless to say, every time I asked him if he is refusing legal tender, he would never say, I'm refusing legal tender. But he did say, I will not accept it in that form. I'm like, it's legal tender. You have to accept it. This is a public debt. Anyway, we went back and forth for like 10 minutes. Eventually, he called me an ass. And, you know, I didn't really like that. So things got a little terse between the 2 of us. So, he called me an ass. So, I said it's an asshole fee. I'm paying it. What are you griping about? So, I'm going to walk back in there with a camera. And I'm going to pay this. And if they don't take it, well, then they've refused payment. And I've done everything I'm legally bound to do. I tried to pay them. I'm going to have another attempt to do this. If they don't take the money, then logically, my responsibility for this debt should be absolved because they're not taking the money and I'm trying to give it to them. I don't know what else I can do. So, I'll let you know how this turns out. But for my speeding ticket, yeah, I got a lot of work to do for that one. I got 4 of these bad boys that I have to break open. I've already started. I got a couple done, but I have to finish breaking those open because, you know, I want to make sure I pay them the exact amount. No more, but definitely not no less. So I'm breaking open every single one to make sure that they're getting every single bit of money that they have earned. So, That's why I'm doing this. I just want to make sure I pay them in the most obnoxious way possible. But I want to make sure that they get their due, because you should pay your taxes.